We'll hear it in this. We're going to hear it also when he talks about his arrest. This is him talking about, using super glue to reattach his finger. Let's take a look.
So when I cut my finger that night, I had used scissors to cut, the super glue bottle had actually, the tip had dried. Sometimes when I have an open super glue bottle, the tip dries and I have to cut the tip. Right? So I had to grab scissors in order to do that. And I inadvertently left blood on the scissors that I forgot to clean off. But once I cut the tip off the super glue bottle, I super glued the tip of my finger together. I believe my healing process is such that I would not have had such a nasty injury for 5 days. Again, I can't speak to anyone else's healing process, but, that is what it is.
You mean the human healing process? So we all have the same.
I believe. The
I
word
believe
modifier,
I
I
can
believe.
fly.
It's like, this is my conjecture about myself. I mean, it's really bad.
And no one's asking about how blood got on the scissors either. It's not even part of the case. It's like
I know.
yeah, like
More random details
no, like I
about
do
nothing.
believe you use super glue to fix your injury. I don't believe it was from making chicken fried rice.
And I also liked how he brought up something that that the prosecution hasn't even brought up yet. You're probably going to hear this about me, but it's not this. I'm like, why don't you shut up?
He can't help
Just
himself. This next piece here, this is what really hit it home for me of him thinking he is a victim. He's talking about when he was arrested and just how difficult that was. And it really wasn't anything crazy about his arrest, other than he had tried to hurt himself. But it was just poor me, poor me. Take a look at his testimony on this angle of it.
The search warrant was obtained, and I got pulled over early in the morning on September 7th, 2022. The officers came at me with their guns drawn, yelling at me. And I was basically coming from dropping off my stepson at school, getting ready to go home to pick up one of my other daughters and then take her to school. And so they just, out of nowhere, 3 police cars just run up on me from the back, and I just scared. I had no idea what was going on. I mean, yeah, they basically yell at me to just stand. I can't remember exactly what they said, but they're yelling at me. They patted me down. They handcuffed me. They threw me in the back of a patrol car. I asked them what I did. I asked them, can I call somebody? Can I do anything? I mean, I did this for over an hour and a half. Just tell me what's going on. Tell me what's, I mean, obviously at this point, I had my suspicions because of like the whole, do all that thing. But they wouldn't tell me what was going on. They just left me there. And the whole time my family didn't know where I was. As far as I know, my daughter was expecting for me to come home and take her to school. I was distraught already by that point. It was my understanding that if I went to the Summerlin Area Command for them to just take this DNA and to take photographs of me, that I would be allowed to just come right back to my vehicle and go on my way.
He's one of the shiftiest defendants I've seen. It's hard to keep him in frame because he's always going back and forth, and I found that to be a little bit odd. But then again, all victim. It's all him on that one.
Yeah, it's a pacifying move to pacify stress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very similar to self-soothing, comforting.
Sure. Yeah.
Because he's under stress.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to fabricate on the fly, man.
God.
So you get word salad like that which is, I find it interesting because I would have thought, since he stayed at the very beginning, that he had a lot of time to think about this and basically come up with his ulterior universe theory. that he would have been more solid on it. But the fact he's such a word salad on everything he keeps saying says he really, which also deciphering truth from deception is very, very difficult. Even the best people in the world are only 50% accurate. I never ever try to do it
Mhm.
because you're always just flipping a coin on truth versus deception. But when you are, in general, when you're recounting factual events, they have a very even, consistent flow.
Mhm.
You can actually, if you have someone both orally uh, state it as well as in writing, every sentence they say will have a very specific timeline. Like from everything they say or write down, there'll generally be about 5 minutes between this event, 5 minutes between this event, 5 minutes between, and it'll have a sequence to it that'll make a lot of sense. And when stating it numerous times, it'll be very consistent. We haven't seen any consistency with how he's describing anything
No.
that he's doing. It is all over the place, which means his mind is all over the place, which means he's pulling it out of the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're pulling it out of the air, he's not remembering real events. He's trying to, and this is when someone's trying to deceive someone. We don't ever intentionally lie. We try to tell the truth. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to piece together truthful things he knows into a storyline that makes sense that he can describe. He's
Mhm.
not necessarily lying. He's piecing together things in a sequence that's contrived
Mhm.
with facts that are real. That's why it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And because so you see it, he's manufacturing this entire timeline because it's all over the place.
I thought it was gonna be bad. I didn't think he was gonna be this bad on the stand.
Yeah, me too. This is the
This
worst
is
I think I've ever seen.
it is. It's yeah, this is gonna be like for the highlight reel at the end of the year of the worst testimony
Yeah.
of any case.
This goes into here's exactly what not to do if you're
Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.